Software rig or a hardware rig? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hold on a sec. Alright, that's better. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's question is software rig for your worship setup or a hardware rig. Now, I've had the opportunity to do both with an iPad, with a laptop, and I've also had the opportunity to play several types of different hardware rigs, like just regular keyboard with built-in sounds. And I've had the opportunity to play different kinds of MIDI controllers that don't have any sounds with different types of programs. Now, this video is gonna be my opinion. It's okay if you don't agree with me, and that's fine. But I just want to show you guys what has worked for me, and maybe, hopefully, that'll help you on your journey to finding the best sound that you possibly can. I'm going to give you guys a walkthrough of the program that I use, of the iPad that I use, of the keyboard that I decided to go with, and all the other little accessories that come with it. And I'm going to do the same thing for my hardware rig. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get to it. So, the controller I decided to go with for what I believe is more convenient for me, doesn't have to be what you have to use. You can use whatever controller you want to use, but budget-wise, size-wise, travel-wise, etc., whatever reasons you have for choosing your boards, this is the one I decided to go with. This is the Arturia Keylab 49 Essential. It's a very simple board. Everything on it you can map. You've got your typical faders, your knobs. They're all very intuitive, very solidly built. Nothing loose. Everything's everything works great on it. You got your pitch bend, you got your mod wheel, you got your transpose button, you got your octave buttons, typical things that come on a keyboard, of course. Okay. Then you got your chord button. You've got these little drum pads that you can map to do whatever you want them to do, depending on what program you have. Transport buttons, all typical stuff that comes on a MIDI controller. It's very compact. Obviously, it's a 49 key, and it's very lightweight. Let's go to the I/O in the back. Here you have a MIDI out. If you want to use MIDI to go out into your interface or to wherever you're getting your sound from, you can have that option. There's also the USB out, which is right here. So I have this connected straight down to, well, would you look at that? I bet you didn't know that was down there. So this is how I have everything hidden. This hub right here, this is a USB hub, and it is all, and get that light out of the way for you. So as you can see, I have a little hub taped, velcroed. I have a little hub velcroed and taped to the bottom of the keyboard. And this is how I run everything in and out. My controller in here, and then my interface is connected here. And it goes all the way down to the interface. And then from the interface, I run out into where I need to run out. So obviously you would run you can run two TS cables, or some people don't like, let me get that out of the way. Some people don't like to use Y cables, but I've used Y cables in the past for if I only have one channel, and it works great. But obviously you want to run in stereo, so you just get 2 instrument cables left and right that go out either that go out to your main front of house board. Obviously you want to run in 2 channels, but if you only have 1 channel, you can use a Y cable and it'll get the job done. But I recommend going in stereo because it's going to sound 20 times better. Back to the hub. So this is an Anchor hub that I got on YouTube. This is an Anchor hub that I got on Amazon. I think I got it for like 20 bucks. And then that I have running to a USB-C extension cable into there. I'll show you guys each cable at the end of the video and how each thing gets connected. But as you can see, that's how I routed it. Yeah. And I love it. It works great. My audio interface, which I talked to you guys about earlier in a different video, which is my audio box. USB 96 PreSonus audio box. It's very inexpensive. Has your left and right main out. Sorry, it's upside down. You have your left and right main out. You have your MIDI in and out. And you have your USB, which is the way I run it, with a USB-B cable. And you have a little headphone port there. I know it doesn't have double XLR outs, but because of the price you pay for this and the sound that you get from it, the quality of sound that you get from it, you really can't beat this. I've used there's a PV interface that has an in just like this, and then the out is 2 XLRs, and that's the only thing that it has on there. It doesn't have, it's just a box with a USB in and 2 XLR outs, and it works great. I love it. But the one I had last year completely went bye-bye. So I used to have a PV interface. I think I got it for like 60 bucks at the time, or 50 bucks. And it was just USB in, double XLR, stereo XLR out. It was perfect. You can still get them. It's just the one I had died on me at a camp that we were playing at. And I was gonna buy another one, but then when I went to go check again to see what the prices were on them, they were too high for my budget. So remember, not everybody's budget's the same. So I went on Amazon and I tried to see if I could find a different interface. There was the Behringer ones, there's the Scarlett ones. They're all great, but I was looking for something sturdy, high quality, doesn't break the bank. So I did a little bit of research and I came upon that one, and it works great for me. It sounds very clear. There's good build quality, good sound quality, didn't break the bank, and it's been good to me so far. I think I've used it about 3 or 4 times already, maybe 5, and I've had no issues. Okay guys, so now let's come to the brains of this entire operation. My iPad Pro, this is the 12.9 inch iPad Pro with the M1 chip, running the Sunday Sounds app. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail on this app because there's already a very detailed video on what the app does, how to use it, and all its amazing features. It comes with several already made patches. You can create your own patch. You can add a patch from the Sunday Sounds library that's already in there. It's just so intuitive and so easy to use. Go check that video out on YouTube. Check out their app on the App Store. So now let's talk pros and cons. Alright guys, so let's talk pros and cons. The pros to this setup are, number 1, it's very compact. Obviously you can see how small the keyboard is. It's very easy to look around. I have a Gator travel case for it that works great. It's very lightweight as well. protects it. I am all for protecting your investment. All right, so another pro is the sounds. So if you're using a software to run your key setup, software updates and you can get more sounds. And when you have a normal built-in sounds keyboard, you're limited to whatever is on that board, unless it somehow upgrades. I'm not sure, but you're limited to whatever's on that board. And then if you want a different sound or new sounds that are coming out, you gotta buy the next board, which is thousands of dollars. The app I use it's a yearly payment. It's a yearly payment, I think, of $100 or $120, and it just updates every month. There's updates on sound, and if I don't want to continue the subscription, whatever I had for that year, I keep. That's also a pro to using this app for my sounds. So another pro to this setup is its flexibility. So what I mean by flexibility is that you can set this up to your liking, to however you feel comfortable. And you don't even have to have a 49 key. You can get an 88 key controller and have more keys and play with a little more real estate. The only reason I went with this is because for me, I prefer ease of travel. I have kids, I have a wife, I have a small car, and I don't like lugging around with a lot of stuff. That's my personal opinion, that's my personal preference. So I decided to go with a small board with the iPad instead of the laptop. It's just, for me, I like having lightweight, compact, minimalist, easy to use. That's just how I like to run things. Okay guys, let's talk cons. The only con I can really think about for this setup is that you run the risk of this crashing. Now, I've never had that happen to me, running it just like this. Never crashed on me, even with my MacBook Pro, it's never happened before. But you always want to have a backup to your backup. So the way that I like to usually run it, if I get to the church I'm playing at and they have a good board that I don't need to use this, I don't have to take this out of the car, I will use that board connected with this. So that is called a hybrid. I call it a hybrid setup. So I'll use the built-in sounds on that keyboard, and I'll also use the sounds coming out of this. That way, if this crashes, I still have the sounds from the built-in keyboard as my backup. And that hasn't failed me yet. I've run that setup also with my laptop, having a normal keyboard with built-in sounds and the MacBook. And I've actually been able to use both the sounds from the keyboard and the sounds from the software and run them out to the main of house, and it sounds amazing. So my recommendation is running it that way. But if you're on a budget, or if your church needs to upgrade, you really can't go wrong with just getting a really good MIDI controller and maybe this app. There's also other software out there that you can use. I like using this software. You don't have to use this software. You can use whatever software you want. There's MainStage 3, there's Ableton, there's a bunch of different stuff that you can go out there and you can check for yourself. And now, before we finish with the software rig setup, let's talk accessories. Alright guys, so here we go. I want to go step by step with these accessories, with how you plug everything in so that you can see exactly what you need. So, USB-C extension cable. I think this is like a 3-footer, so that I can hide this, because this cable is kind of short. So when I plug it into the iPad, it doesn't give me enough length to hide this or put this somewhere. So it kind of just hangs off of the iPad, and that's obviously not safe. So I got a USB-C extension cable suggested by Sunday Sounds, and it works. So they have one that they suggest, but I went with the, what is this brand? Ugreen. It's an Amazon brand. It works great. I haven't had any issues with it, and it gives me the perfect length that I need to connect from here, from the hub into here, into the extension, then from the extension into the iPad. And it gives me just enough length where I can hide the cable and I can hide this, so it looks nice and neat when you're at church. Then you move over, get some light for you guys, to your regular normal USB-B cable that goes into your hub, and then this end goes into your keyboard or MIDI controller. Then you gotta get another one. I like these, preferably the ones that have these little capsules on them. This end goes into your this end goes into your other USB port on your hub, and this end goes into the USB port of your interface. Right there. Upside down. Right there. And then obviously you run your out to your mixer or amp or whatever it is that you're running. Now move over to this contraption. Now what does this do? I'm glad you asked. This is what holds your iPad in place. So you could have a normal little like tablet stand, or depending on the situation that you have at your church. But I like to use this because it's multi-purpose. I can use this at my church and I can leave it there, or I can take it with me on the go. So this opens up, loosen this up, this opens, and then I tighten it up onto a mic stand, or if an extra drum stand that might be laying around, or whatever. You can put it, you guys saw how it was set up, and you guys are gonna see in the videos that I did how I have it set up on a mic stand, and I actually have used an extra drum stand as well, which I like better because obviously they're a little heavier, a little sturdier, and it doesn't move as much. And then last but not least, you have your USB-C charger, your power adapter. So obviously it's an iPad, so you want to use the iPad charger, but the iPad charger does not give off enough juice to power the hub, the interface, and the iPad. So you want to use a laptop charger because those have plenty of power to give. This is, I believe, a Lenovo one, and it works great. I haven't had any issues with it, but I usually like to use the MacBook Pro charger, which I don't have with me right now, but you guys know what that looks like. And last but not least, the backups to your backup. I got a backup USB hub in there, backup USB cables, and then backup line instrument cables in here. I got a Y cable in there. Always want to have backups to your backup. And the final accessory I wanted to talk about is your instrument cables. Now I've gone through so many different kinds of instrument cables for my keyboards that I couldn't even count, to be honest. But I came across these recently, and I believe these are the best keyboard cables. These are the best keyboard instrument cables that you can buy. They're very sturdy. Obviously, Roland is a very trustworthy brand, good quality brand, and I love the way everything sounds coming through these cables. These are excellent cables, and they're not that expensive. You can find them at different lengths depending on what length you need, but I highly recommend these cables. You want to use 2/4 inch mono cables. Why is it mono? Because of that line right there. These are 2 mono cables. So one goes in, and then one goes in the left, one goes in the right, and then the other ends go into a DI box and then off to your mixer. And that'll convert it to XLR, and you'll have your stereo output. Alright, so remember guys, the software rig that we just went over, it's only a budget setup if you already have a MacBook Pro, or if you already have excuse me, or if you already have an iPad Pro. Now, it doesn't have to be an iPad Pro. It can be an iPad that has an M1 or M2 chip. I recommend going that way only. Don't get a cheaper iPad. Just go with what is definitely going to work for you. You want to be secure in the way that you do this. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about pricing for software or for the hardware rig. This is my Yamaha MX88. Now I know it's not a Nord where the Nord is the Lord is, blah blah blah. It's not a Montage, it's not a MODX, whatever. But I love this keyboard. Not only because it was a gift, but the key bed on here is amazing. I love how it feels. It's one of my favorite key beds. And it gives me the sound that I love the most. My favorite piano sound, which is the Concert Grand Yamaha sound. Also has a plethora of different sounds. You got pad synths, leads, keyboard sounds, different types of keyboards, organs, etc., etc. So it's a great keyboard for what you pay for it. I think this is running from like $800 to $1,000 right now, and it's a great bang for your buck. Now, it is $1,000. All right, so I/O and hardware, almost the same. You got your sustain pedal. You can use a foot controller with this one, so like an expression pedal or whatever. You have an aux in for if you want to play along to music. Then you have your output, your left and right output. So here's what I was talking about before. If you run left mono, you got to use a DI box to convert it. I mean, if either way you got to convert it, but if you want to get a true stereo sound, you have to run left and right. And then if you want to practice, you got your headphone output as well. And obviously, if you run down the side here, let's go back. Look at that. Look familiar, guys? There it is, your USB connection, so you can run your software. And then obviously the same as your interface, you have MIDI in and out. Power button, and here is where your power goes, 12 volt power. Alright guys, so let's talk pros and cons for hardware setup. So the biggest pro is that you just plug in and go. Most likely if you're running a hardware keyboard, like an 88 key, it's already going to be at the church, so you don't have to worry about that. If you have your own hardware keyboard, you probably won't be lugging around an 88 key, and if you are, God bless you, because usually all the 88 keys are very heavy and expensive, and the cases are expensive as well. But hey, if that's what you like to do, if that's the way you want to run things, more power to you. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I just believe that there's easier ways to do it. You could just get a built-in keyboard that has built-in sounds, like a MX61, Yamaha MX61, or a small Nord. But even the small Nords, you're going up there in the $2,000 range. Like a 61 key or a 76 key. Same thing with the Rolands and all the other brands that have those smaller built-in sound keys. They run the same as what you guys saw, the inputs and outputs of my MX88. You have two outs, you have MIDI outs, you have the USB connection, you have the sustain, you have the foot controller, all that good stuff. They all have it. Those are the pros. They're all there. You just plug in and go. A con is, actually, before we go to con, another pro is reliability. The sounds are built in, so you don't have to worry about anything crashing. Con, price. If you want a good keyboard that has built-in sounds, you're gonna be paying a lot of money. And I know budget is a very big thing for churches. Okay guys, so this is future me in post. I had to cut that video short, obviously it was kind of long. I was gonna make that like a super long vlog, but yeah, that's not happening. So the in-ear mix video that I was gonna put after that, I'm just gonna give it to you guys in a full video. Yep, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thanks for watching, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.